I think Liverpool have absolutely got to sign 2 more players this summer, and I think they will sign 2 more players this summer. These names are not going to be new to you, but I think the reasoning of why I think Liverpool will sign them might surprise you a little bit. I don't think it's outrageous, but I think it's going to absolutely make sense once I lay it out. Okay, 2 more signings. I think the first one is Marc Guehi from Crystal Palace. This one just makes too much sense, okay? And here's why, okay? He's already agreed personal terms with Liverpool. I think that's a rumor, but I think it's true. I've seen that from a lot of different people. I think he has only said he wants Liverpool. I think he's got other clubs. I think it was maybe Newcastle, Tottenham coming in for him. And he's like, no, I'm only going to Liverpool. There's no way I'm going anywhere else. It's only Liverpool. He's made that very, very clear. I think Marc Guehi is the perfect, from what's out there right now, I think he is the perfect replacement for Virgil van Dijk on that back line. He's already a leader. He's already been able to represent England. He's pretty much the complete package when it comes to a backline defender who can also be a leader on your team. That's what you need in that position. You look at Van Dijk and Konate, they're similar in stature, but the leadership that comes from Virgil van Dijk is really hard to replace. Now, that's not going to be right away with Marc Guehi, but get him in and let him sit under Van Dijk for 2 years, and I think he's going to become one of the best defenders in the world, if not already. He's very, very good. I think the age matches up perfectly with Konate. You've got players now in this Liverpool side. You look at the profile of players, 25, 26 years and younger, and it's like almost our entire team, except for Salah, Van Dijk, and Alisson, club legends, So I think the age matches up perfectly. I think the profile matches up perfectly because he is one of the best in England. And I think this is a big need at Liverpool, probably the biggest need in the team at the moment, because the depth behind Konate and Van Dijk is worrying. It's concerning. It's basically Joe Gomez. And Andy Robertson, I guess, maybe Endo, maybe Gravenberch. So this is a huge need. Marc Guehi, you could make the argument, well, is he going to want to come in and sit behind Konate and Van Dijk? I think he'd be fine because I think there's actually a lot of opportunity for Guehi to start, maybe in the place of Konate. I think there's a lot of opportunity for Konate or Van Dijk to go off a little bit early if the match is secured, or if one of those two has got a knock or they're tired, Guehi comes on. I also think there's an opportunity. We know Arne Slot can do this. We're up 1 goal with 10 minutes to go. Let's have a 3 center back combo on the back line. 3 center backs, 2 wing backs, and just control and compact in the middle. There's so many options for what Marc Guehi can do at Liverpool. I think it's a no-brainer because I think it's very affordable. Now, Liverpool could wait. They could wait 1 more year and get this guy for free. But here's why I don't think they're going to do that. Money has not been an issue for Liverpool this summer, okay? We've made a lot of signings. We've made a lot of outgoings. We've sold a lot of players. We've made a lot of money off of sells. I think it's affordable. And for one of the best defenders in England, I think you have to go get him for this campaign. I think it's a crucial need because I think if you bring Marc Guehi in, I think your probability for winning the Premier League again goes way up, okay? And I think Slot and Hughes will know that. And I think they're just kind of waiting. They're bargaining. They're negotiating. And I think he's going to be brought in. All right, you ready for number 2? Alexander Isak. Yep, I'm saying it. He's coming in. There's one big reason. Stick around at the end of this video. I'm going to break down a historical breakdown of what Isak has done and why I think that's going to lead him to ultimately joining Liverpool this summer. Okay, again, Isak only wants Liverpool. Slot and Hughes only want him. They are not going out and looking for alternatives. Obviously, they've brought in Ekitike, which I think was shrewd business. I think they wanted Ekitike quite a bit. But now they have a chance to go get Isak and really solidify the depth on their front line. Because, again, this is a position where there's not a lot of depth. Not a lot of depth at striker. I think they need a lot of help up there, even though I think their starting front 3, Gakpo, Ekitike, Salah, brilliant. But one of those guys goes down, and you're looking at, Gamoa has to start, which I think Gamoa is fantastic. But who starts for Ekitike up top? Do you push Florian Wirtz up into that false 9 position and stick Szoboszlai in that 8 to 10 role? I think there's a lot of ways you can do it. I think Liverpool and I think Arne Slot, they want another striker, and they only want Isak. Okay. He's one of the best, of course. We all know that. But here's the thing. This is the really fascinating part about this. History suggests that this is going to happen based on what has unfolded this summer with Alexander Isak. Let me break this down for you, okay? Philippe Coutinho. We all know this story, right? Liverpool to Barcelona, 2018. This is obviously relevant to us as Liverpool fans, and at the time, we hated it because we loved Coutinho, we wanted him to stay. Now we know, and this is a message to you Newcastle fans, this could go really well for you in your club's history. When Coutinho wanted to leave, he submitted that transfer request, something Isak hasn't done yet, I realize that, and he claimed he had a little bit of a back injury, okay? Now this pushed him to miss several matches, and ultimately, it led to his £142 million transfer to Barcelona. Okay, so that's number one. Harry Kane tried to do this in 2021, and hilariously, ironically, didn't work for Harry Kane. He failed to report for preseason. He wanted to go to Man City. They were interested in him. He wanted to go there, and ultimately, it didn't work out. He stayed 2 more years before leaving for Bayern Munich. So that's the one example where it didn't work. Now, Jadon Sancho, you're going to start to see a little trend here. With if any Manchester United fans try to say, "Oh, Liverpool, they're doing Newcastle dirty," just look at this list and remind them of history. Jadon Sancho, Dortmund to Manchester United. Again, he had personal terms agreed with United, but Dortmund's asking price was it just caused delays. And then he missed several matches, and then we all know what happened. Poor Jadon Sancho, that was such a bad move for him. Dembele, this was a big one. He, very similar type of player. He was at Dortmund. He wanted to go to Barcelona. He went on strike. He refused to train. And ultimately that forced through a 105 million euro move to Barcelona. Some other farther back, Berbatov, Tottenham to Man U in 2008. He refused to play in Tottenham's match against Sunderland on deadline day, and that pushed through a move for him. Carlos Tevez wanted to leave Manchester City, and he refused to play, and he just wanted to leave and go elsewhere. Didn't really have a club in mind. And then Sol Campbell, Tottenham to Arsenal. Look at that. Against your fiercest rival. He refused to play, ran down his contract, and moved to Spurs' biggest rival on a free transfer. Okay, so I think these strikes typically work. Historically, they often work because clubs, they're seeing this ultimately as a business move, right? You've got the emotional side of it, but clubs would prefer to get that transfer fee rather than deal with an unhappy player, someone who's going to disrupt team morale, someone who's not going to be motivated to play for your shirt. And I think they're going to, more often than not, take the money, reinvest it, and move on to the future. Now, there's a risk of backfire. Obviously, with Harry Kane, he had to stick around for 2 more years, damage relationships. I think he was still fine at Tottenham. He was still scoring goals. And so it doesn't work sometimes. But Isak has done everything he can to possibly make it clear where he wants to be. And he doesn't want to be at Newcastle. He only wants Liverpool. And so that's why, from a historical context, I think it's going to happen. And I'd love to know what you think in the comments.